Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Is it time to sit up and take notice of Chelsea? No, end of video. No, I think it is. You know what? We like a crisis video on this channel, but what about looking at a team and going, what's all the moaning about? Is something actually happening at Chelsea? Is it time to take note? Is it time to beware of Chelsea? Because I tell you what, you look at the league table, 3 points off the top, 5th in the league, Brighton and Forest to come at home. Things are looking good for Chelsea. We've always said they've got a massive squad. So why is it that so many Chelsea fans seem so negative about their own football club? Or is actually that just what we see in the media from minority voices and the vast majority of Chelsea fans are feeling quite optimistic? But it's not just about that. What are your thoughts as well? Because when I look at Chelsea at the moment, and obviously when I look at my club or Spurs or Newcastle, I think they're probably arguably in a better position than all of them. They've got the points on the board, more points than Man United and Spurs, but also Newcastle, same amount of points, but Newcastle's start's been a little bit up and down, whereas with Chelsea, they've beaten teams very, very well. They've got some good results on the road. And as I said, their only real blip was the loss to Man City. Well, everyone expects to lose to Man City, don't they? I think what's gone on at Chelsea is that there is a lot going off the pitch that adds into the crisis. And you look at the last 2 years and the amount of money that's been spent, the amount of managers that they've had, and certainly the treatment of some players, it's not desirable. But I think as a football fan, and certainly as a fan of Man United over the last 10 years, the very core has to be about results on the pitch. The very core has to be your football club. If you spend too much time lamenting about morals and how your football club is being run, then you're going to waste a lot of energy, to be honest. I mean, we've tried to get the Glazers out of Man United. They're still here. It's Ineos don't own Manchester United, the Glazers do. And there's been protests, there's debt, there's a stadium that's going to get knocked down, which is iconic. And the Glazers are still there. We haven't beaten the Glazers. They're still earning money out of the football club. And yet Man United fans are carrying on arguing about whether Ten Hag should stay or not. So these Chelsea fans that are moaning about, Pochettino getting sacked or Conor Gallagher being sold or Chalobah being kicked out. I mean, none of those things are great. But tell me a football club that does run itself morally. And at the end of the day, it's the football club that needs to survive. And you've got to pick your battles. And realistically, do you want to just wallow in your own tears forever? Or do you want to actually look at what your football club's doing? I look at that Chelsea side. Yeah, look, I wouldn't have sacked Poch. I wouldn't have lost Poch. I wouldn't have got rid of Conor Gallagher. But bottom line is, Maresca has come in. They've got a definitive style of play. They've got probably, arguably, the best squad in Europe. I think they've got a better squad than Man City. They're not a better team. They're not run as well as Man City. But squad-wise, they've got an absolute wealth of players. And Maresca, probably building on what Poch had at the end of the season, a bit of momentum, has got them into a system. And they're actually winning games now. And they're actually taking their chances now. And you look at that performance against West Ham last week. I think for me, the penny dropped at that game. I thought what they did away to Wolves was good. I thought the Bournemouth game, they rode the storm and got the 3 points. But against West Ham, in a game that they didn't dominate, it was quite equal. They were clinical and they were away from home. And now I think that there is a real optimism around Chelsea that they're almost being left alone to do their thing. And that could be quite dangerous for the rest of the league. Who knows what the future is going to be for Chelsea? I mean, off the field, there is apparently a battle in the boardroom. As the manager of Chelsea, you never know how long you've got. As a player at Chelsea, you've got a long contract, but you don't know whether you're going to get picked. They do seem to have too many players. There could be problems down the road. But if the trajectory of Chelsea is to get back into the Champions League, and not a lot of people predicted they would do that at the start of the season, I think where they are now, yes, admittedly early in the season, is, probably ahead of where I thought they would be, playing some decent football. And actually, I'm quite intrigued to see what they're going to do. Yes, they've got these 2 home games against Brighton and Forest, but if they win them, they're not going to lose position, are they? You can't drop from 5th for winning your next 2 games. They're going to be right up there in the equation for the top 4 race. maybe not too far off the top, which obviously no one's talking about. And then they go into a run of games, which I think really would be definitive. You know, Liverpool away, Newcastle at home, United away, Arsenal at home. That will be their next 4 Premier League games. And when you come out of that in mid-November, you look at it and you go, well, where are we as a football club? Because I can't remember where I put Chelsea at the start of the season. I think I put them maybe 6th, 7th or 8th. If they were to get top 4, I think it would be a fantastic season. And I didn't really understand the Maresca signing. So I think sometimes, well, look, we all want to project that we know what we're on about, because that's the great leveler with football. Everybody can have an opinion on football and everybody can think they can manage England. And the bottom line is, some of us do get a lot right, but there will be the odd stinker in there. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. Could be Pele. Obviously not Pele now, he's no longer with us. But, you know, you could be, I nearly said Maradona, he's dead as well. But you know what I mean? You could be the greatest ever, or you could be never kick the ball, but love football. Everybody can have an opinion. And I think one of the great things in life is having the capability to, not admit when you're wrong, but acknowledge when things are going not the way you expected. And it is very early days for Chelsea. And obviously, the only real setback they've had was the loss to Manchester City, but there will be setbacks, and how they react to that will be the real quiz. But I don't buy into the fact that some people think that Chelsea's success over the last few weeks is masking some sort of reality. I think the reality is that Chelsea have been a very unstable club for 2 years, but they've built an immense squad. And what I talk about with United or Arsenal or anybody else is that if you want to be successful in the Premier League with the amount of games there are now, you need a squad. Well, Chelsea have got a squad. And people don't want to talk about that positive, but everybody talks about a squad. You look at Man City. Man City are so good because they don't need to pick Rodri for the first 3 games of the season. But they wish they bloody had now. But you know what I mean? Like, it's that squad element of I remember watching the PSG Bayern Munich Champions League final a few years ago, and I looked at both benches and I went, bloody hell. They'd start in the final for another side. So squad games, Man City have took it to a new level. You need a squad. Arsenal are still trying to build an amazing squad. They've got a good squad, but have they got an amazing squad? Well, Chelsea have. So they've got the thing that many people want. They've built that, however they've done it, with silly contracts, silly money, whatever. They have got that squad. Then they still need 1 or 2. I still think they need a world-class striker, but they have got a squad. If they can find a manager that can get that squad working, which is easier said than done, then on the pitch is what matters. Off the pitch takes care of itself. Off the pitch is, can you give us money to buy players? Off the pitch is, are you going to get us relegated or suspended or banned? Those things you can't really control. On the pitch, at the moment for Chelsea, I think it's looking good. And I think that they're going about their business quite quietly. But I think that, these next 2 home games, if they win them, they go into that run of 4 games with an immense amount of momentum. Chelsea could do things this season. And are they starting to turn the corner? Are they actually starting to have some stability? And why are some Chelsea fans not happy about it? Because if it's about morals and we shouldn't have done this with Conor Gallagher and we shouldn't have done that, no, you shouldn't have done. But ultimately, there's a lot of things United have done, and I'm sure there's a lot of things Arsenal have done over the last 10 years that you just have to move on from as a fan. And when the results are on the pitch, surely you get behind your team and you get behind your players. Just my thoughts. Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Oh, and if you like the career mode I've been doing on EAFC 25, I've returned with my United Stand career mode. If you've never seen it before, it's always a bit of fun. Check it out. Links in the description. Take care, everyone. Get your comments in below. I'll speak to you in a bit.